We'll start recording, and I appreciate everybody's time. Welcome once again. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday, 7 to 8, and you could have been anywhere else on a Friday night, but you chose to be here with us. We appreciate your time, and as always, we're gonna make it, worth your while, right? So it's gonna be straight to the point, and at least we're gonna learn something together, right? So today, like I said earlier, we are launching our cyber group coaching program, and this program is intended for everybody. If you are now beginning in the industry or you're already in the industry, you've been working for a while, there is something in it for everybody. And the intent of it is to continue our internship/apprenticeship programs that we have. Once the program is over, we try to maintain the cohort, but we really maintain it with no activities going on, right? So we came up with this, and this was pushed really hard by the last cohort of our internship workshop group. So we are pushing this out, and we are opening it up to everybody, even if you've not been part of the internship or workshop program. It's open to the entire community. So the goal is to promote, to make it affordable for everybody moving forward. Because if some people call you and they want to do one-on-one coaching, and I'm like, you don't want to do that, because that is going to be really heavy on you, and I don't think probably most of the times you even need one-on-one. In a group setting, you'll be able to learn more, because different people will be bringing different problems. And this is also like a forum for people working in the industry already. If you have a problem at work, you can bring it on the platform without necessarily, stating any sensitive information that will bother on confidentiality, but we can discuss the general, aspects of whatever issues you'll be having at work if you are working in the industry. If you are trying to get into the industry, to be a good platform for you to learn from people in the industry already. And also, we will be, bringing up topics similar to ones we've been doing even on Cyber Chat, but we will dive more in depth into it. So let's get into the fine print of our new cyber group coaching program, and let's get started here. Please give me a second before we roll out. All right, everyone. So thank you once again for being here. Let's get into the fine print of our cyber coaching program. So for everybody or anybody who is new to the family, I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy and the CEO of Eretmis Inc. We are a QSA company, a cybersecurity consulting firm specialized in PCI DSS assessments, and we do everything in cybersecurity also. I love to train. I'm a trainer, and this is what we do, and this is our family, right? So if you are new, you are welcome. Please be part of our cyber chats, and we promise you are going to learn something new every weekend. So what are we going to talk about today? We will talk about our new program, Eretmis Academy programs that we have so far, and we will talk about the new programs, that is the coaching program. And moving forward, we will discuss briefly about our PCI partnership program that we'll be rolling out next week. So the partnership program, we're probably going to launch it on Tuesday or Wednesday. That will be specifically for the PCI community within the Eretmis family, and also for everybody else who might be interested in it, and most especially for our PCI students. All right, it's a very nice and a very great program that is really going to be a huge game changer in the auditing PCI side for everybody, right? So we will just go through, surprisingly, most people don't even know, all the programs that the Eretmis Academy runs, right? So our programs, we've categorized it into cybersecurity career training, So career training, we take you through if you are looking to get into the cybersecurity industry. We have our entry-level course, hands-on training, job placement assistance, and for cybersecurity certifications, we have certifications ranging from all CompTIA certifications, CISA, CISSP, name it. We have like a whole variety of it, right? So certifications are just geared towards you passing certification exams. Career training geared towards you gaining the knowledge and skills to be able to function on the job market as a cybersecurity professional, right? On the job as a cybersecurity professional. Now we have our cybersecurity workshop and apprenticeship/internship program that we also run for our entry-level students. And it is open to everybody else who wants to join it. And with this, we pair you with our sister companies and you work on real cybersecurity projects. But the beauty of it is we will teach you, you and your cohort, right, your group, what you're going to be doing in terms of the project, and you and your cohort will go execute the project together, right? So it's pretty fun. I think most folks on here have gone through the internship program, and they can attest to, how much it has helped them in landing their first cybersecurity jobs, or even on the job, helping them to, excel at what they do. Okay. And our coaching and mentorship program, we rolled out our Protege program a while ago. And the Protege program, the intent of it was really to, look at cybersecurity coaching and mentorship from a different perspective, right? So we had Protege 1, 2, 3. Protege 1, 2, 3 is still there, right? But now we are trying to, in terms of cost, we think probably if we gauge it is a bit on the higher side for everybody, but we wanted to put a program together that is going to be for the community where everybody can, participate in it. And so the goal of it is to scale it, right? To increase the learning within the community and also to, build that network, okay? So let's say during one of the group sessions, maybe somebody's looking for a job, problems they're encountering, if they bring it up, everybody's going to benefit from it, right? If you are on the job encountering a problem, you bring it up, everybody's going to benefit from it, right? So, and maybe probably somebody had a similar problem, they can also bring it up. So the intent of this group coaching program is to, build or to bring a whole, lot of the community members together and to be able to push our cybersecurity agenda and to, make everybody within the program or as part of the coaching program to become the best cybersecurity, whatever they want to be, right? So analysts, specialists, like wherever you find yourself, you are going to be the best at it and you're going to have that support, right? So the details about the program is going to be run for 6 to 12 months, right? It is not a contract between anybody whatsoever. You can join it for a month. You can join it for 2 months and just, cancel your subscription. You can join it for the whole entire time, right? And we will look at cost and pricing and everything, but I promise you it's going to be super easy on everybody. So the goal of this is to give you an unfiltered, exclusive cybersecurity mentorship and training. You are going to receive some guidance and direction as to, career path, which way you can go within cybersecurity and even on the job, right? Most of our students who are working now on the job, mostly when they call you and, we are talking, because I love to, talk to our students and see how they are doing on the job. Sometimes the discussions, end up with just not even on cybersecurity side, just sheer office politics, right? This person is doing that and I have to do this and how do I, and when it comes to office politics, you can't be an army officer without knowing office politics, right? That is like the top notch of like politics within politics, if you're an army officer, because there is sometimes it's like cutthroat politics there. So, I showed them some few pointers But now it's not going to be on individual basis anymore. Everybody within the community can benefit from it. Talking or doing like a group session in terms of coaching and mentorship, right? So that is the intent. Whatever that we do, one-on-one with individuals, we want to spread it out to everybody. So that is the goal of it. And also for, people who might not be able to necessarily maybe financially, maybe afford mainstream courses that we offer, this is going to be an opportunity for them also, to still contribute their quota, but still be able to gain as much information as possible, from what we have to offer, right? So that is the basics for the Cyber Group Coaching Program. Okay, so these are some of the main benefits you are going to receive from the coaching program. So we'll have group coaching sessions monthly. So we will do monthly Zoom live. It's probably going to be an hour to 2, right? And we'll nothing will be off the table. And we will come in with at least 1 hour is going to be like a session on like a topic that we will discuss, and then the following session, another 1 hour after that is going to be problems or question and answers that might come up. Also, like I said, we are trying to push the agenda of continuing with our internship projects that we've been doing for our interns. So for all the previous internship group and for the internship group now that has just ended, and also for ones that are to come in the future, once you're done with the internship, you can choose to join this program as well, and you'll be working on real world projects. And like I said earlier, specifically for our last internship group, and I know from the previous internship group, they wanted to be working on projects even after the internship, right? But you can't just be working on projects even after the internship if there is no structured coaching and mentorship program, because when you do the project, somebody will have to look at it and make sure it's good before you move on to the next project, right? So this is an extension pretty much of our cybersecurity internship program. So people within or participants within the group coaching session, they will be working on real world cybersecurity projects or problems. On a weekly basis, they'll be working on projects as teams. So let's say we have 100 participants in the cyber group coaching program, right? We are going to divide them into groups, right, and teams. So each group team will have their own leadership, and how we have it set up in the internship is how we are going to have it in here, right? So smaller groups, that way we'll be able to give more attention to everybody. So although you're not going to get one-on-one coaching sessions, if you really have like a problem, I mean, everybody knows, if you reach out, I'll take time and talk to you. But the intent of this is for you to work in teams, because one aspect that most people are missing in IT and in cybersecurity in general is the leadership and managerial project management aspect, right? That is something that you take for granted, but that is something that is really going to make you during interviews or even on the job, right? So this is a setting for us to learn. And, this is our own house, so we can make our own mistakes here. And then when we go outside, we will be well vested in whatever that we are doing. And also most especially on the soft skills side. So we will be working on projects together as teams and groups. You also have access to most of our previous Eretmis internship and workshop material and lessons and all that. We will have it structured where you'll be able to have access to a lot of our catalog in terms of training that is not available in the public space, okay? And also you have access to real world cybersecurity tools and documentations that are out there that you might necessarily not have your hands on. Especially an example is like ISO 2700 series. None of these ISO 2700 series or frameworks is hanging out there anywhere. you have to buy it, right? Eretmis has almost a whole catalog of it. You have access to that as well. Another, reports, cybersecurity reports, and white papers that are out there that you might necessarily not get. We will, give you all that, and not just give it to you, but go through them, discuss some of the problems and issues in it. If some of you might probably have seen, I think almost like a month ago, we posted some report, the cybersecurity report, on the Eretmis cyber platform, like WhatsApp platform. Some people looked at it, some didn't, right? But for the coaching session like this, we are going to discuss the whole entire report, right? Go through and identify some of the issues and maybe some of the findings and some of the new trends within the industry. So those are some of the things we're doing in the coaching session as well, right? And you have access to some of the hidden, insights within the industry. I remember last weekend, we did job placement assistant for the interns, because that was the last meeting. I gave them some, cool tricks when it comes to applying for jobs and, placing yourself really above your competition. And I think some people who were even on the job working were surprised, like, oh, I've never heard about this one before, right? So insights like that, we have a lot of them under our sleeves, but we can't disclose them, almost anywhere and everywhere. It has to be in a certain, setting. And this is one of those settings that we are going to give you some insight into those ones, right? And also, we will receive like a really big exposure to almost all the major cybersecurity frameworks, right? So there are a lot of frameworks out there: CIS controls, NIST, a whole catalog in NIST, ISO, PCI, FEPA, FESMA, RMF, name it, HIPAA. We'll go through high trust, we'll go through a whole lot of them, right? And reason why I think this is going to be the best program for everybody. And also we will look at eligibility. Anybody and everybody is qualified, whether you are taking a course with us or you're not taking a course with us, because we are looking at everything from, this is going to be the extra, maybe cherry on your cake, right? And like this is going to be for 6 months to 12 months, because it will give us time to cover a lot of stuff, right? So that is the intent of it. For internship, we cannot do internship for 1 year or for, a year and 6 months, right? You could, but, I don't think the whole goal of internship or apprenticeship will be lost on that one, right? But for this, it's a coaching session, or like a coaching program, group coaching, so we can stretch it, to cover a lot of, because there's a lot to be, like a lot to know, a lot to learn, a lot of skills out there. We need time to be able to cover everything, and this is the intent of, being able to cover a lot within, a very good, doable time. So exposure to frameworks, because most of these frameworks, just going in depth into one framework can take, an example like our PCI DSS course, the specialist course can take anywhere from 3 to 4 months, right? Expert, probably maybe 6 months plus, okay? So yeah, that is just one framework, right? So if you have to touch on almost every framework and go not just on the surface, but go a bit deeper into it, we need time, right? So even though we'll be meeting once a month, but in between the meetings, we'll be working on projects. And really, meeting once a month is not also set in stone. We are always about quality, not quantity, right? So if we have to meet more than once, because we have a certain project for that month that we have to look at, we find time and do that, right? And also, you will receive some unfiltered insights from other guests that we'll be bringing on. So, other guests within the industry will also be coming on to share a few tricks and tips as we move along in the program. And the most important, I think, out of all this is cybersecurity soft skills training, right? So we will have time and we will dive into some cybersecurity soft skills. An example is what I was telling everybody, how to play the game within your workplace. Even now, if you're still not in the cybersecurity space, wherever you find yourself, you have to be able to master the soft skills game, right? And a very big part of it is office politics. People get it wrong when you say office politics, but in the Army, what I learned in the Army was that if you are not part, if you are not seated on the table, if you are not part of the, let's say it's a dinner table, right? If you are not part of the, people seated on the table, ready or about to start eating, then you are the meal that is on the table that is being ate, right? So most people don't get that aspect. So whether you hate politics or you don't hate politics, it is part of human life, and politics is not like that what we see on TV as politics with the politicians, right? When it comes to the office space, it's influence, pretty much. How are you going to influence others to go be able to convince them or go your route or, relate to people, all that. There is a whole science behind that. So we will take you through that as well. And I think that is not just going to help you for cybersecurity, but, everywhere or anywhere that you find yourself. Right? So these are some of the benefits, not all of it by any means or any measure. So there are some questions in here. We will discuss it as we move along. And I know there are a lot of questions. So this is going to be pretty short, and we will open the floor for questions, right? So who is eligible for this? Like I said earlier, everybody, regardless of where you are, whether you are at advanced level in cybersecurity, you are intermediate level, you are a beginner, you have no clue what cybersecurity is, that is fine. Everybody. And for all projects that we'll be doing, there will be projects that we are not going to start from the middle of it. We will start from the beginning. That way you'll be able to have a better appreciation of it, right? So regardless of whatever level that you are at, you are going to benefit from this. Okay? And also because we will be working in teams and in groups, you have that connection. So if somebody is more vested in the topic that we are looking at, you can always bounce off that person. And they'll help you out. One thing that I've seen, about Eretmis family, everybody has that mindset of, helping each other out. And that is the goal and the intent of what we're doing. The goal is to help ourselves become very successful, right? We are gradually becoming an army of cybersecurity professionals, like I always say, and that is the intent, right? That is the intent. And, if you are part of this, the networking piece is also really huge, right? Networking with people within this coaching program, because it's all about networking, right? It's all about networking. Whether you believe that or not, it's all about networking. Or somebody might know something that you might not know, or know some project that you might not know. And, cross-talking, like talking to each other might help you, get to know something you didn't know, or, get you some contract or somewhere that you didn't think, or on your own, you might otherwise not have been able to get there. Okay? So if you are beginning, if you are in it already, there's something for everybody in this program. Okay. Now for cost, let me give you just some background, right? For anybody, if I do consult, I'm not even going to talk about consulting because you're not a company, right? If you want, okay, Dr. Edu, I want one-on-one coaching on maybe on the job, like that will cost you anything between maybe $5,000 plus, right? $5,000 a month plus, right? And that is probably meeting maybe twice a week, going through problems that you have on the job, and how to do this and how to do that, right? And if it's not even at that level, and we are doing, even for the Protege programs, I think like the minimum was like 250 a month, and also that the intent was smaller groups, right? And now we want to make it a very huge group. So what we did, after going back and forth on pricing, we settled on $149 a month. But what we also did was that for launching the program and setting it up for the first week or so. We're going to have an early bird offer, which is going to be $99. And if you take advantage of the early bird offer, the $99 will be logged in, right? So that will be like your monthly payment, and you can cancel at any time. I mean, you can do 1 month and cancel 2 months. We don't, like there's no really like no contract on, okay, it has to be for this number of months. If you think, okay, I've had enough, I think I don't need any more of the, info and skill sets and the projects you are working on, I'm good with it. I mean, then you can, cancel it. But if you don't get in or get on board until the 30th of this month, then obviously you are going to go with 149, right? And still, that is also same thing. No set in stone, no contract. You can cancel at any time. And you can, let's say you do it for a month, cancel it, come back, join it like next 2 months, it is still okay. And what we're doing is for every month, we will try and work on a different project, right? For every month, we will try and work on a different project. So if somebody decides to join next 2 months, they wouldn't really miss out on what we did that past 2 months, because what they will be getting themselves into will be a new project that they can start from zero on, right? So it's not like if whenever you join, you are going to be in the middle of the project. So enrollment will be like a monthly basis. We'll be adding to the group on a monthly basis. So for everybody within the group that wants to take advantage of the special offer they can do, it is open until 30th. And officially, we will start the whole coaching program on the 3rd of October is when the program is going to start. So how do you sign up? You go to the Eretmis Academy website, you go to all products, and you select the Eretmis Cybersecurity Group Coaching Program. You scroll down to the bottom, there's the price options there. You choose that, any which one that works for you, and then you click on enroll, and you'll be in. So follow-up instructions for how we're going to meet and, setting up our communication channels, all that will be communicated on the backside, just like how we do for the internship program, right? So this is everything about the program, right? Straight to the point as usual. And for next week, we'll be launching one of our biggest projects this year, which is going to be the Eretmis PCI Partnership Program. We will give more details on it when we do the launching. And I think this is going to be one of the biggest game changers for our community. It is going to be a program that is really going to have a huge impact in terms of cybersecurity knowledge and skill, and also in terms of setting ourselves up for financial independence and for success. Right? So this is going to be the end of our launching for the program. Now I'm going to open the floor. You can ask questions about the coaching program or the upcoming PCI partnership program, or any cybersecurity questions that you have in general, or any questions you have in general. I appreciate everybody's time. I'm going to go ahead and look at some of the questions that were put in the chat, and we will open the floor to everybody. Okay, so Bennett was asking, is it possible to lock in the 99 price and join the program later? Yeah, of course. Once you enroll in it, it's automated. So if you join with the 99, then it's the 99 that is going to come out every month, right? But if you don't, and that is taken off, then it's going to be the 49, right? Okay, Sullivan is asking, Sullivan is a really good name. I had a soldier who is called Sullivan, good guy, very good guy. Sullivan is asking if someone enroll in one of your courses, would they have to still pay? Yes, so Mr. Sullivan, the coaching program is totally different from any of the courses that we're running, right? Even if you are in the internship program, you can still join this. They are like separate things. So one doesn't automatically gives you access to the other, right? And the coaching program is open to the whole entire, public. Anybody can join. But for, let's say if you join the internship program or you are in one of the programs, those are specific tailored programs, aimed at something, but this the coaching program, we are working on different projects, right? So that is why I'm saying, like, you can join this there's something in it for everybody, right? So if we are working on some risk management projects, we are not necessarily going to take you and start teaching you risk management from scratch. But whatever we are doing, we will do it to the point where if you are starting off, you'll be able to understand, right? So it is not like a training program, it's a coaching program. So, but if you've taken our course already and you did risk management, now is even going to be more easy on you because you have a very strong foundation in it already. And working on the projects, you'll be in a better position than maybe probably somebody who's coming in and trying to figure it out and also do the project. But still, how we have it structured, that is why it is coaching. We are going to show you how it's going to be done, and but for the science behind it, we might probably point you in the right direction in terms of where to find more information on it. Lawrence, do you conduct consultation on which areas of cybersecurity that will be best for you for each individual inquiring for each inquiring individual? Yeah, so Lawrence, like, this is one of the questions that might benefit the whole entire coaching program, like for everybody within the coaching program. So you can ask questions like this. We're not going to do one-on-one consultation, but within the program, if you bring this up, we'll be able to address it, right? So, or even, I mean, during cyber chats, if you bring something like this up, we'll be able to address it, right? So you don't necessarily have to join the program for you to get answer to your question. If you can ask specifically, I'll be able to answer it here for you, even right now. Right? Charles is asking if this is being recorded. Yes, and the recording will be shared later on to everybody. Right. So now the floor is going to be open. Please go ahead. Any question? No question is off the table. Dorcas says, can a registered member of the program gain access to certain frameworks before October 3rd for interview prep purposes? Okay, so Dorcas, I don't know which assets or to which framework that you're looking for, but we can help you with that. Like, I don't really know the specifics, but depending on what project we are working on is what you gain access to, right? So if we don't control that, then once the program, we roll it out, everybody will come with their own, I want this, I want that, give me that, and that is going to make the program unsustainable, right? But if you need any special assistance on the side, we can talk offline on that, right? So the floor is open. Please, if you want to ask a question, you raise your virtual hand, and then we will answer your question for you. So Ernest was the last person to join. Welcome, Ernest. I'm not sure if his audio is working.
Thank you.
I've not talked to you for a while. How is your new job treating you?
So for the past 2 months, because I'm still waiting for the clearance, so I'm not seriously doing anything because I don't have access to most of the systems there. So I'm still learning.
Okay, good. All right. Any questions for the group from anybody? No question. Questions from last week. And for next week, cyber chats, we are going to look at IT auditing or IT audits, right? And then we will jump into, I promise we will look at the frameworks. So we started with GRC, broke it down, looked at GRC as it pertains to careers. And then we are going to look at IT auditing next week for cyber charts. And we will jump into, once we do the auditing, then we will start looking at high level overview of, most of the frameworks and what is really done during audits for those frameworks, right? So SOC 2, PCI, paper, right? We'll start looking at those individually for the subsequent weeks that are coming up. And for the coaching program, for those ones, we will dive more deep into them as we start the coaching program. Right? Any questions for the group? Go ahead, Sheila.
So my question is, when you were talking about just in case somebody has started a new job and then you run, since this program is structured, can that person still bring their problem, and you and the group will help that person resolve it, even though you guys have your own structured way of doing things? I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, so I get your question, Sheila. So like what I meant with that was we are not necessarily going to walk through step by step whatever problem that you have on the job, right? Or walk through step by step teaching you how to do the job, right? That will be a different conversation. But let's say for general problems that you have, let's say, for example, like you have to do a presentation at your job and you need a topic, you know, like similar to what sometimes you need, Sheila. So that we can, you know, throw some ideas around and, you know, point you in the right direction. Okay, you can maybe talk about zero trust. This is what the zero trust entails. You know, this is how you can structure the PowerPoint presentation because it's going to benefit everybody, right? Now, if you come up with, oh, we had an incident at our job, you don't have to go into the specifics. Let's say there was an incident and your incident response team really sucks. So it got out of hand. You know, we can discuss the generality of it without going into details about, you know, we had these servers and this was that, and, you know, some of it borders on confidentiality. So we wouldn't be able to touch on everything, but the generality of it, we can discuss for everybody to benefit from it, right? But as to, and Sheila is speaking from, you know, I know where Sheila is coming from, but as to similar to if like I want to address Sheila specifically, like what we were doing with Kwame, it is not going to be like, right? So if that was what you are intended, what we are doing is going to be, you know, for the general consumption of everybody. So although we have it structured, so let's say like, for example, now, if you have a problem at work and you bring it up, hey, Dr. Edu, at work, we are working on this project and I've done A, B, C, D, but it's not working. Like, what is your take on it? Okay. That is something that the whole entire group can benefit from, right? So we can look at it. But it's not like, hey, Dr. Edu, on my job, I need to do vulnerability scan. I don't know how to do it. How do I do it? Right? Like those ones, you know, maybe use Nexus. That is going to be the answer. As to how to use Nexus, you have to figure it out.
Okay. Can I say one more thing, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So with the the question that I asked and referring to back, I think that wouldn't you think that is a good idea to include that in the services that you provide? Because you and I know that it was very helpful to my husband. That's just by the way. But I think it is something that you need to put it out there for people to see that that assistant is also there. Okay, my next question is, will you recommend this program for somebody that is knowledgeable of the cybersecurity, that has taken some classes or maybe has already completed the entry level, or anybody that is just interested in cybersecurity, a beginner that doesn't have very much knowledge?
Okay, so you know, for most of our programs, sometimes we do experimentation also. One, let me show you, tell you a little secret. One experimentation we did was with the first internship that we did, right? So for everybody who didn't catch that train, the first internship was free, internship/workshop. It was open to the whole community for people who were in the community at that time. We had almost like 65 people enrolled in it. Probably our students from our Eretmis students within that 65 group was probably maybe 12 or less than 15, right? The rest were just people with some cybersecurity background, people with zero background, right? and we took them from zero. Some people would have no clue what cybersecurity was about, no IT background whatsoever. But we took them through the internship process to the point where I think it was almost 3 months for that internship. When we were done, you know, like those people were ready, and you know, those who took it very seriously, they could easily start a career as a cybersecurity professional, right? So for this, we are not necessarily going to do the same thing because the internship/workshop is very tailored. How we have that structured, we have it structured for a reason, to really get you on the ground running. Now, for everybody who's gone through any of the internships, they are the most ideal candidates, right? Or anybody taking any of our courses, they are the most ideal candidates. If you are not taking any of our courses and you have some cybersecurity background, or if you've gone through some training elsewhere, it's also going to be really good for you, right? Now, for somebody with no background, zero, you can also join, because the intent here is that, as like Sheila is asking questions right now, people in it, the intent for somebody who has no background, who can still join, the intent is that you are, if you want to be in the industry, you have to be a student of the industry, right? So being a student of the industry is being part of a program like this. Now you just sit, just, you know, like being around like a round table of people who's been doing something for a while. You know, all you have to do is just keep quiet and just keep turning your head left and right, listening to people, grabbing some stuff from there, listening to that person. Okay, so, you know, you are building yourself, right? So even if you have to take a course elsewhere, during the course or during that training, most of the stuff is going to be like, okay, I get it. Oh, okay, that is why we did this way during the coaching program. Oh, okay, that is, so there's going to be a lot of, oh, okay, in any training that you go from there, right? So the intent for anybody who is not being in the industry, sitting in such a program is just to sit and listen, right? And although maybe probably if we get into some serious cybersecurity areas, it might sound like Greek or Chinese if you don't know Greek or Chinese. But, you know, for just like any language, even if you don't know it and you listen to it for a while, you get to pick on some, you know, clues and some cues, right? So if you're watching a movie, let's say probably an Indian movie, if you don't understand Indian, and, you know, you are watching watching the dialogue going back and forth, and the minute somebody shouts something, you know, he slaps one person. If you follow the trend for a little bit, when he shouts something, you know what is coming after that, right? A big slap. So although you don't know, now you start to get it. Okay, this shout probably means slap, right? So same thing here, you know, if you sit in such meetings for a while, you are gradually becoming a student, you know, of the industry. You're absorbing some of the information without you even knowing, right? And the projects that we're going to be working on, we will start from zero. So at least, even though you're not going to probably get everything because you don't have any background, but, you know, you get enough for you to go do your own research, to be able to sit in the conversations and understand most of the stuff that is going on, right? But for anybody with background, with training, within the industry already, it's going to be an added benefit. And you also have that privilege of discussing with like-minded people and sharing ideas, solving problems. So that is the intent of this, right? And for what Sheila was talking about, so Kwame, you know, landed his first cybersecurity job, and unlike most other jobs that people land, Kwame's was a bit challenging. So Kwame needed serious one-on-one help in terms of coaching and mentorship on the job. And I did that for Kwame, right? But those are on, so like Sheila was saying, like that is not something that I do because I really don't have the time, frankly. I really don't have the time. But that is something that if you are in dire need of it, I can do it for you, but it's going to cost you a lot, right? You can ask Sheila. Kwame's was a slap on the wrist. But even that was, you know, big for Kwame and Sheila. But, you know, I don't think if it's big, it's not really big because if let's say I'm charging you $5,000 for a month, which is really peanuts, if you are receiving 120, right? And you are doing this for like 4 months, And after the 4 months, you are on your own. Now you can fly. I don't really think that is anything, frankly. And for me, it's just me helping you out because, frankly, if we have to do the math, about hours and for like consulting, it's really nothing. So I did that for Kwame, but it's not something we advertise or something we push out there because I don't have the time for it. So, but if you are in dire need of it, I mean, we can do that. But if you just need some pointers at work, you know, like Sheila, if you need a pointer, you know, like sometimes, okay, Sheila, we can do it that way. And there's like a lot of you out here, you know, when you started working, I'm just looking through if I can find code name. I don't think Barbara showed up, but I always call, like I call Barbara out all the time just to make fun of her. But you know, and I'm really proud of her because she's doing really well now. You know, there's a whole list, you know, Bernice and like a whole list of them that I mean, I'll easily point you in the right direction and show you what to do and stuff like that. But, if we have to, I have to, you know, get into the trenches and start digging with you, then that is going to cost you. For me to point you in the right direction and give you some advice on, you know, what to do and whatnot, those I'll do it free for the community all day. So, but for what Sheila was talking about, Sheila, we don't advertise that because really, I don't have time. With no, you know, disrespect or anything, but frankly, but if you do need it, it is something that, you know, we might probably work out something and help you out with it. Because with Kwame, sometimes I'll be traveling, I'll be around in Europe and whatnot, and midnight, not midnight, like maybe 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. on my side, I have to be on the phone with Kwame or on Zoom, right? Which was really hectic for me because by 6 or 7, I have to be at a conference doing some consulting, but, you know, I still did that. That is, you know, what I promise, or that is what I've chosen to do for the community. So I hope that answers your question, Sheila. So long answer to a short question.
Yes, that does. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. I understand. But to everybody, it's much worth it. Even if he's going to charge you like a huge money that you don't think is possible, you can get your peace of mind. The worst thing is to be at a job where you go to work and you come home and you are scared to go back to work tomorrow because you know what they're going to be asking you, you can't answer. One lady was like, I wish they fire me. You sometimes wish they fire you, but they are not firing you, just tormenting your life. So to get somebody that can help you to be able to be comfortable, it doesn't matter how much. I think it's worth it. So I know you're busy. I understand. I don't know how you do it sometimes, but to all you guys, if you can get him to help you to have your peace of mind, I think it's all worth it. Anyway, thank you.
For the community.
Yes.
Yeah, and so now Kwame is a rock star at his workplace. So just to let everybody know. Now people keep coming to Kwame for tips and tricks. People who've been on the job for like 10 years will come to Kwame. How did you do this? Like, how did you pull this off? Right. But they don't know Kwame's secrets. Now you do. So, but don't tell anybody. Don't tell on Kwame. Go ahead, Reverend Kwame.
Well, Prof, with all that you took me through, and then the time that you had for me, and the issues that I'm facing, and you'll be surprised that now I have a title to my position, direct as a manager. So I know it's money well spent, but it's worth it. So if anybody comes to that situation, don't think about the money, think about the future and what will come after that. So even if I spend say 5,000 a month for like say 4 months or 3 months to get this, and now my paycheck, my title is gone up, and then I'm coming out with another PCI, which is another bomb in. So the future is bright. So as a sign of encouragement to everybody here, Dr. Edu is here to help. So let's not think about the money that much, but just get the knowledge from him, and the future is good for us. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Kwame. Don't know when Kwame became a reverend, but it says reverend here. Let me trace. Go ahead, Aliku.
Hi, sorry, I'm kind of driving and on the call also. I didn't realize I wasn't muted, so I apologize. I might have been interrupting some conversations. But so my question was, do you have an idea what time those groups would be meeting? Like when we do have those meetings once a month or twice a month? Asking because I would like to know if it would be in the evenings, during the day, weekends, because during the day I have a 9 to 5 that I'm trying to move out of into cyber security. And so that might conflict. And if we cannot meet, but we are in the is it consultancy group? How would we make up for that?
Okay, thank you. So the once a month meeting is going to be for the whole entire group and myself, right? Within the month, your groups will be meeting a lot. So that will be determined by the group. Like you guys will come to a consensus on when you are going to meet because you'll be working on projects, right? For our meetings, once we have the whole entire coaching group together, we will all decide on, it's probably going to be on the weekends, right? So we're all going to decide on the time, and like majority will carry like whenever we think is going to be possible for us to meet. And also, even if you miss the meeting, that is fine. We always do like recordings, so you have access to the recording, and then you'll be assigned to a team or a group. So your groups will be working on whatever project. So you guys will be meeting from time to time to discuss those projects. And also, just like how we do for the internship, if your team or your group needs to meet with me, that is possible, right? If you need clarification on anything, we can do groups too as well, right? So, like I said, it's about quality of what we're doing, not necessarily any strict setting as to we just meet once and you can only discuss this for 20 minutes. No, like we don't really do that, right? The intent is for quality. So if we need to spend more time or do more meetings, that is fine. If we don't, we don't.
Okay, and I have another question. In terms of the projects, could you give me or us an idea about is this something like would be doing a company requires some maybe some work in terms of assessing if they have met the requirements, or it will be like how can I say, like a case study where you say company A has blah blah blah, and these are their policies, and this is their system design and blah blah blah. So now come up with as maybe play the role of this person. Is that how you're gonna work this?
So it's going to be a variety, right? If the project, so the coaching group, you are not part of any company or you are not affiliated to any company. So if, let's say there's a project from a company, right, that we want you to work on, we're not going to tell you what company that is, or probably give you some fictitious company, right? The details of it, if you have to bother on network diagrams and stuff, we are going to, redo the network diagrams. So this is like something similar that we'll be doing on the PCI. So people ask you, so for the PCI, will we be working for this company or for that company? If you know what goes on for like data privacy and insurance and stuff, you have a better appreciation of, I can't just bring a company's project to you if you are not working for me, right? Because if you are working for me, then you are covered under a lot of different layers of insurance. But I can still have you work on something similar, right? But for this coaching group, like I was saying, it's an extension of the internship that we did. And there are a lot of sub projects from the projects that they did during the internship. Most of those are going to be the projects that you'll be working on in the coaching group. Because for those companies, we have a working relationship with them. And like those projects, some of it is not really going to bother much on confidentiality and data privacy for the company, right? So if you are talking about how it's going to be structured, it's not an internship, so you are not working in a company of any sort, but still working on real world projects. If we have to, for confidentiality, make it a case study, we'll make it a case study. So the intent, it really is not to, the intent is to give you the knowledge and the skill, right? And to have you do similar projects that you find elsewhere. So the projects might vary. If it doesn't bother on security or data on confidentiality, then obviously we are going to give you exactly, like the project as it is. If it borders on confidentiality, then we have to frame it, because we have non-disclosure agreements with a lot of companies that we work with, and we cannot break that for just our own selfish interest.
Okay, final question. So I have taken some cybersecurity classes, but I have not done any certification in that yet. And I have also taken some a PCI DSS, what do you call it? Training, mainly video trainings. So, I'm still in the process of trying to assimilate all this information and, feel comfortable to apply for a job. So let's say if during this coaching program, I feel that I may need to, maybe because you have like the entry, I don't know if it's
level,
but
entry level.
there are two levels. There's level 1 and level 2. So if I feel like maybe I need some of the material in level 2, would you recommend to then go ahead and register for that, or what would be your suggestion?
Okay, so if you want a training tailored specifically to get you from where you are to where you can start working, then you have to take the entry level course. If you take the entry level, you can still do the coaching, because the coaching will be an additional something that you're gonna get, right? But for the coaching, within the coaching, you cannot say, I'm part of the coaching, so give me all the course material for the PCI training. It's not going to work that way.
But what if I have applied for a position and I've been offered a job, but I feel, like I still need a little bit of information? You still suggest to register for the for the level 1?
So are you talking about the Mentor Protege Program or for the entry level course?
No, the PC. So I have done PCI DSS training elsewhere.
Okay.
But I have not received internship, and that's one of the reasons why I jumped onto your program to learn a little bit more, because there was that option of an internship. I think I did reach out to you to ask, okay, I've done whatever I feel you cover in level 1. However, I have not had the opportunity to do an internship, and I would like to do that. What do you like? Do you have, how can I say, do you have a way for someone like me who has already covered the material to jump on an internship program or a coaching program? Not this group coaching, but I think I saw on the website you had the group coaching where I don't know if it was internship or where the people met in groups. Again, I'm just trying to recall what's on your website.
Okay.
So that's why that's why I was specifically interested in participating in the internship program, because I have already taken the PCI DSS, you know, like about 2 months of that. So
Okay.
I'm feeling like if I go back to level 1, that's repeating information I already feel I have, but I really just want to get started to be in a position where I can be comfortable. Like the lady was saying, you know, you want to go and be sure that you may have the material, but you don't know how to present it because you've never presented it.
Okay. So I get your point. If to reiterate what you're talking about, you've done PCI elsewhere and you need PCI internship or kind of hands-on training. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and you also kept repeating that you've covered everything in terms of the knowledge side of PCI. With that, you know, mostly I advise people to be very careful on that, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And I don't know where you took your training. So you cannot be very confident that you know everything in terms of I've covered all the knowledge piece. And it's not just you, right? Like most people get into that arena of, you know, I've covered everything. I just need the hands-on. But what most people fail to understand is that now you are pushing for the skill, right? You can't get the skill if there is gaps in your knowledge. And for our general cybersecurity internship and workshop, we can let you in even with no, you know, cybersecurity training, because we have it in a certain way, and in that area we can cover some of the gray, you know, areas. But PCI is a specialized area, right? And if we have to get you into our internship training, we don't know what you know now, so there has to be an assessment, right? I think for most, we were supposed to push out the assessment last week. We couldn't. We will hopefully try and push it out maybe by Monday. And if you go through the assessment and you pass, then we will be able to get you into the internship or hands-on training of PCI. If you don't, then we're not going to allow you in. Right? So now, whatever you think you know, don't worry. You'll be able to prove it during the assessment. And if you pass the assessment, then we know that, you know, at least we can get you in the internship, and we are not going to waste your time and you are not going to waste our time. So for that, you know, be rest assured, we will give you an opportunity to do that. So we are not just going to say because we didn't train you, we're not going to give you. We are here to give you opportunities and to help you. Right? But we have to make sure, you know, we are doing it in the right way. So if we can just get you in without anything, we could. But PCI is a very specialized area. And mostly if I put my tag on you that, you know, you were trained in Eretmis, I have to be very confident about what you can do and what you cannot do. So, and especially with PCI, you know, you have to be extra careful about what we think we say, you know, and what you don't know, right? And so for that, we will just leave it at that. So if that is what you're looking for, the coaching is not going to give you what you are looking for. Frankly, the coaching is not going to give you specifically PCI hands-on training. If I tell you it's going to give you that, is a lie. We will touch on maybe PCI here and there, touch on different areas. But the coaching, like I said, is maybe let's say it's like a super snack, right? That you can, you know, have here and there to make you feel good and to also to polish you up, you know, but not necessarily, it's not going to be the full-blown meal. Full-blown meal here, meaning regardless of whatever area you are, let's say you want to get into HIPAA, right? You know, and you want to get into this program, we will touch on HIPAA, but this is not going to be the program that is going to make you the HIPAA expert, because we are going to touch on so many areas, you know, to make you all-rounded based on what you know already. So we will work on what you are looking for, and that it is very doable. I think you are not the only person in this boat. We had a couple of people who have taken PCI training elsewhere, and they are looking to get, you know, into our hands-on training, right? And mostly, like, sometimes I used to ask them, so why didn't you get hands-on training where you took your training? But I think you are here for a reason, right? And it is in my duty and my promise to the whole entire community is to help out, right? Not to ask questions like that. You did your training, very well said. We are going to help you out as much as we can to get you into the hands-on training. But we have to make sure that, you know, if we put our tag on you, you know, you are really going to be, you know, what we want you to be. So, but with that, we have to make sure at least you have the knowledge to begin. And also, reason why we're doing the assessments is that in cybersecurity, PCI is a specialized area in cybersecurity, right? In cybersecurity in general, we have something that we call KSA, right? Kilo Sierra Alpha, right? KSA. So K stands for knowledge, skill, and abilities. Right? We call it KSA for a reason, and it's arranged in that order for a reason. Everything starts with knowledge, and then you can move from knowledge to skill, right? So without knowledge, forget about skill. And most people will come to you saying, oh, I've not been able to land a job in cybersecurity because I don't have any skill or any working skill or, you know, experience. So like experience meaning skill, right? And you quiz them a little bit about their cybersecurity knowledge, and is either not there or is not even at kindergarten level. And I can tell you for a fact, that is why you are not getting a job. It's not any skill that you don't have, because if you don't have the knowledge, the skill is not going to come, because the skill will be built on the knowledge that you have, right? That is why in PCI, we are very, particular about, we have to really tread cautiously to make sure that your knowledge is intact before we can move you into the skill area. Because if you just want to be any PCI, anyhow, then that's fine. But if you want to be the best, which we try to make you be, because within PCI, if you hold any position, cybersecurity analyst in a company is fine. There are so many gray areas. You are not really going to, you know, you're not going to be the one who is going to make or break them. But with PCI, you are going to be the one who is going to make or break them, right? Anything that you do or you fail to do can really cost the company a lot. And I've seen that in real time. So that is why I'm very strict about not just, you know, pushing anybody out there. If I'm training you from scratch, I know what I'm giving you. If you are coming from somewhere else, you know, then we have to, you know, make sure that, you know, you have what it takes to move on to the next level. But we are going to help you out, Eliko. We are really going to help. And it's not just you, we have other people in the same boat. So we will help out as much as we can. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Go ahead, Mr. Carter.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to add a few things to what Sheila brought up. Sometimes in this industry, if you don't prepare yourself, I mean, you go and then later on, you beg them to sack you, as she said. So I will entreat everybody that anyone who could spend money to take this entry level course, it's very, very important, because this entry level course, it goes every. Now, you are done with this entry levels. For instance, my area, since I came, I told you that I'm interested in the RMF, in the ISO area, risk and compliance area. But at least I still needed the background, the confidence I needed in the cybersecurity industry. So once I got it, even though I told you I'm not ready to do any job, but they've been training me for the past 2 months. Because looking at the system they use in the space relay at NASA and all that, you need to learn. And then sometimes we say that, oh, these compliance jobs, they are not technical. So they, even though they're not going to do programming as we think that's the only technical thing, but they are compliance though. But the technical things, because we are always doing meetings, a day I do like 3 or 4 meetings on Zoom or on, how do you call it? I mean, various platforms. So you'll be sitting there, and if you don't have any idea, you always be shivering like you are sweating and all that. So I mean, I will increase anybody who wants to take this course. The entry level course is very, very important because it boosts your confidence. Now, I never used Archer, but once they took me through the training, managing poems, doing risk assessment and all that, I mean, I love the job. My interest is there. I just sent you a file on what I recently got from there because they know that they've gotten a better person. So that's the only advice I can give to the rest of the team.
All right. Thank you very much, Ernest. So just to add to what Ernest said, like I keep telling everybody, people come to you and say, I want to get to like the GRC side of cybersecurity because it's not technical, or to compliance because it's not technical. But the irony of it is compliance and GRC side is more technical than any side. Because guess what you're going to be doing? You are using every other side in compliance or in the GRC side, right? So if you don't have a good working knowledge of every side of cybersecurity, like Ernest was just saying, you'll be in the middle of meetings and you're just going to be sweating because you have no clue what they are talking about. And though everything they are talking about is not something that is over your head, it's basic cybersecurity stuff, like foundational cybersecurity stuff. That because your foundation is non-existent, because you are trying to dodge the technical side, which I don't even know what is the technical side, right? Because everything cybersecurity is technical, right? If it's not technical, then like somebody with no IT background, with no cybersecurity background, with no cybersecurity training, can just jump in and do any cybersecurity job, right? So let's get out of that mindset. And mostly when people say technical, they are trying to dodge programming or networking. And yes, programming, obviously, you are not going to need programming if you are not doing ethical hacking or forensics, right? Which is not what most of you are looking for anyways. But my point is, on the GRC side or the compliance side, please don't get into that mindset that it's not technical, right? Some people will tell you, oh, you just go down a list and do, just go down the list, make sure they meet all the requirements. This is about reading. Yes, I can read French very well, but do I understand anything that I'm reading? No. Right? I can read Dutch. I was in Germany for a while. I can't speak Dutch to save my life. Right? I can read most of it, but if you say that, I'm probably, because I was there, I probably will hear a thing or two. I can read it all day. My point is, you can read English and still not understand it. Okay, so if you are in the middle of the conversation of 2 medical doctors and 3 nurses who are working on a patient in a surgery, in a surgical setting, they might be speaking. They will be speaking English, but how much of it are you going to understand? Probably not much. Right? But everything they're saying is English. My point being that have a good working knowledge of all areas of cybersecurity. Don't try to dodge or pick and choose what you think you are going to need, right? Because anywhere you find yourself, you will know and you will really appreciate that your knowledge, your little knowledge of all the different areas are really going to help you and set you apart. And you are confidently going to sit, in meetings and not panic, or you are not going to wish they fire you on the job, right? So what are the areas you have to have a good working knowledge of? Cryptography, networking, identity access management, cybersecurity architecture. Probably I'm missing a few, like maybe 2 or 3 or 5 other areas, right? Working knowledge. You don't have to be an expert in all those areas. But if I show you a network diagram, you should be able to understand it. If I show you a pen testing report, you should be able to go through it and understand the different areas and why this is this, why this is vulnerable, how to remediate it, And also you have to speak the language. Okay. So that is why in the entry-level course we have like a course that is called cybersecurity language. The whole cybersecurity thing we're doing is a language. The more proficient you are at speaking the language, the better you are at getting a job, the better you are getting paid more, right? So please take, any training that you get, even if it's not from Eretmis, that is fine. Take it seriously. Try and make sure you understand it. Don't try to take shortcuts. Memorize test questions to pass tests. Passing exams or passing certifications, they don't really mean anything. if you don't understand what you saw on the exam, right? So that is why our training is more, even if we are not into the hands-on portion, we're still trying to make it more practical, right? So it's more of apply, and except areas that you have to just know, by memorizing, you just have to, there is no way around it. You have to memorize these. Then you have to memorize it. But even with that, after you memorize it, we try to give you application questions for you to apply, right? Because on the job, you're going to be applying stuff. And like I keep making fun of some people, on the job, problems that you are going to face, they are not going to come with multiple choice, like A, B, C, D, choose one. The problem is going to come by itself with nothing else to help you solve it, right? So how you are going to solve it will be based on the knowledge and skill you have acquired, so far, and your fundamental understanding of cybersecurity in general, right? And most problems that you might see very huge in huge organizations, they are not, if you really understand if you have like that foundation and you understand your fundamentals. Because guess what? Everything that, like, within an organization, there are three main things that touches cybersecurity. That is people, processes, and technology, right? And what is the foundation of cybersecurity? Trying to reduce risks within the organization. And how do we ensure, or how do we go about, reducing risks? Is to ensure that we are protecting what? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. What you see elsewhere as CIA triad, right? So if you understand like the fundamentals and the foundation between how people, processes, and technology borders on enforcing confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which relates to trying to maintain that to reduce risks, you are good, right? It's very simple said, in this way. But what I've said, everything that is happening in cybersecurity, the ethical hacker, cybersecurity analyst, PCI, whatever, HIPAA, all of it comes down to what I just said, those three lines that I just said, right? But if you have a good working knowledge and you understand the foundation, no problem is going to be like a problem, because all of it, you break it down to what I just said, and you'll be able to solve it. Right? So any more questions? Mr. Carter's hand is still up. I'm going to lower it if you don't have any more questions. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Hi, Emmanuel. How you doing?
Good. I'm great. Yourself?
Great. Thank you for giving us this lecture and presentation. It was really helpful, and a lot of things that you were saying, came to my mind, and it was really it was facts, So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
My question is, a lot of companies, when it comes to like the PCI assessment, they follow some methodology for to do the assessment, and those include assessment, pre-assessment, sampling, and also submitting the rock. So when you're doing that in your internship, is there like I know when you're doing like the assessment, you have to do some kind of interviews and stuff. So how you're gonna conduct that interview? Because some of them we have to experience that. At the same time, we have to take notes while the SME is talking. And then based on that, we have to write the report, look at those configurations, make sure there are PSC compliance. So how do you assess that while you're giving us this opportunity to learn the PCI?
Okay, Mohammed. So if I get your question right, you are asking how the internship is going to go for the PCI, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And for everything that you just said, that will be on the expert side of the PCI training.
Yeah, and that's the one I'm interested in, definitely.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you were talking about getting exposure to doing like interviews, during assessment and all that, yes, you are going to have access to that, or you are going to be exposed to that.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And also riding the rock as well.
Yes. So for the expert side, we walk you through all that. We walk you through all that. So like that is what I was saying, and also for like specifically for you, Mohammed. So you know that border, like doing the interviews and sitting in and on interviews. So let's say, for example, right, Eretmis Inc., we are a QSA company. We have a contract. We are doing an assessment for one of our clients, right? If you are not directly employed within our company, right, we cannot let you sit in meetings. We cannot let you hear some sensitive information that the client might have, or get like expose you to details from the client, right? But for the internship, you are not directly going to be exposed to specific client info. There's a way around it when we're doing the rock, or when we are doing like the interviews and we are doing all that. But now we are trying to bridge that gap, right? We're having you sit in actual interviews. And that is what we are going to do with the PCI partnership program, right? So with the PCI partnership program, we can structure it where you are going to sit in interviews as a contractor for us, right? If we don't have anything like that in place, then based on our like insurance and everything, we cannot just have anybody sit in any meeting. But if, and now we are full when it comes to like PCI, we cannot like take you on as a staff, but you can be a contractor, right? So that is the intent of the PCI partnership program. So all our students, we are going to push you into the partnership program. Other people can join, but so like my point is, be rest assured, you're going to have exposure to all that, right? So we have structures in place and ways to go around stuff.
Okay. Sounds definitely on the job training. So it's very really good to know that. Thanks for explanation.
Yes.
And a lot of,
go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of companies are now that they have a cloud infrastructure, Azure, the AWS and Google Cloud, that kind of stuff. And, if we get also that exposed to that, that would be definitely on top of, skills as well.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, now everybody and their mama moving to the cloud. So most definitely you have to get some warm and fuzzy with the cloud too. Yes, we most definitely touch on that. All right, everybody. I have to address some questions in the chat and we will wrap it up. I appreciate everybody for staying all this while. Okay, Kwame was asking, okay, thank you, Sullivan. John Sullivan was asking, I think, answering some questions for.
I actually do have another question. Do you have time?
Oh yeah, but please give me a minute. Let me address like the questions in the chat real quick, and then we will give you the time to talk.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so partnership program. Brian was asking about the partnership program. I will elaborate just a little bit on the partnership program, and we will move on. Sullivan, real world hands-on training, yes. Mona, okay, I'll speak to you after here, Mona. So Dorcas is asking about the next date for the PCI expert class. So for everybody, I think probably we've not spoken about this, but for the PCI, this is what we're doing. We have a fully online version now, at least for the specialist course. The expert course will be rolled out next week. And the goal behind that is because the live classes, we cannot do it every month or every other month, depending on how our timetable looks like. Now, the next live class, that is live online class for the PCI, is going to be in November. Even that with the date, we're not sure, probably going to be, mid or end of November, right? But if you want to get, on as soon as possible, you can take the online version. And the online version is simply classes, live classes that we've had, like recordings from that has been structured well to make the online. So you have students like this asking questions. So it's just like being in the online, being in the live class. But the beauty about that is you can go through an entire month's class in weeks, right?
Sure.
So yes, so if let's say you want to start as soon as possible, you can start that and still catch the internship train. So let's say like we have a cohort that is going to start internship in 2 months, right? You start the online version, you are able to go through, you do all your assignments and everything, and you finish before the 2 months. Now you can join that cohort during the internship, right? So instead of waiting the 3 months or the 4 months, you just cut it into half, right? Because the online, you control the pace and all the material is there, right? And for all our students in the live classes, it is your class that is the online class, so we'll give you access to that. I know I told everybody we didn't roll you in because we've not it was done, but we had to remake the class again, and so now we'll be able to put everybody in there. And it's your own, like you hear yourself asking questions in there, some pretty good questions. Everybody's applauding those in the class already for like some of them, because like you'll be watching it and you are like, I want to ask this question, and before you know, somebody just comes up with your question. So which is really good. It's an interactive, unlike other online classes. This is interactive. You have students in there, going back and forth, asking questions, and their questions being addressed. So it's not your typical online boring videos that you just have to go through. And also there are assignments for each module and each lesson, that for like modules not specifically for each lesson. So for anybody who wants to just slash their time into half, you can go through that, right? And now we have it structured where we have a new program that we are running for our new PCI class. They are doing the online / live, but for them we are going to transition into live fully, and then maybe the next cohort is going to be online and live. We'll meet and discuss your questions and stuff. So trying to get as many people as we can on board. That way, especially specifically for us, when we roll out the PCI partnership program, we have a lot of army. We have a lot of soldiers to push out on that one. Mohammed is asking, is there lab for the online training? Yeah, so the online training labs, if you can be more specific, because when you talk about labs, then the PCI side, labs is more of what we do for the internship and hands-on training, right? So there'll be written labs where a lot of work for you to do, if that is what you're referring to. But Mohammed, I'll get back to you. Go ahead, please, Eliko.
Okay, so my other question I had was, I know you mentioned HIPAA. I saw, I can't remember the number. Do you also do things like ACAS, NIST, EMAS?
Yeah, so those are things that we might mention here and there. But in cybersecurity, you have to find a seat, especially if you are like a training institute or you are a company. You can't be a jack of all trades. So EMAS and ACAS, all those are more focused on the government side. NIST, still focused on the government side, but it has some of the good industry best practices. So even on the corporate side, we use some of NIST. But I don't know what specifically you are looking for like EMAs and those. Is it like how to set them up and how to use them, or like what exactly are you looking for?
No. I'm just curious if that's part of the like the offerings you have in your trainings.
Oh, okay. So no, we are not heavy on that, right? We are not heavy on that side because that side focuses on the government, and like mostly our focus is something that will cut across all industry, not just on the government side, right? And those, if you have a really good foundation, those are too easy just for you to, wrap your head around. On the government side, things are not as challenging because it is more structured, and there's a lot of shield on the government side than on the corporate side. Sometimes it's cutthroat. Before you realize you are the only cybersecurity person in the company and you are it, right? But it's not going to happen like that on the government side. So on the government side, there's a lot of shield for you. At least you be under somebody who is going to be under somebody who is going to be a somebody. So, like you are not going to be in front of the wall if you want to look at it that way. But to answer your question, for EMAS and all those, we are not very heavy into those. But those are for for the coaching, for instance, if maybe like a good number of the participants bring it up, hey, we want you for us to do something on this. Most definitely have expertise in all those areas, but I have to pick and choose where to take my fights. Unfortunately, I didn't focus too much on that in our training and everything because it's not something that cuts across. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dorcas is asking about VETTEC. I've been asked about VETTEC like for the past 3 days. So VETTEC and VRAP, Dorcas, we are almost there, but not there yet, right? So we submitted almost almost 40 something requirements or documentation for us to get certified. All of it approved except one that we are working on. We submitted that again, but we're hoping to hear from them. So yes, I know that is something that is really big on our radar because that will help our vets a lot. Okay. Yeah, so Samuel, that is the same thing that Dorcas was asking about, VETTEC and VRAP. And also, but if the person is active duty, for TA, we are not able to take TA. So TA is tuition assistance, in the military. You use that to go to school. And that is mostly specifically for traditional schools, like traditional colleges, and not for like technical or training institutes like ours. And for Mohammed, I think I answered your question. If I didn't, you can please ask it or to give some clarification before we wrap it up. Okay. All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody's time. I think Mohammed's question was good. I appreciate everybody's time. So please go ahead. I want everybody on here to be part of the coaching program. I want it to be a big family moving forward. Thank you very much. We will meet again next week. We will start talking about IT audits, and then we will jump into specific frameworks. I appreciate everybody's time. Have a great weekend. We'll meet again next week, God willing. Stay blessed.
Thank you, Dr. Do.
Thank you.